In today's day and age, digital privacy is arguably one of the most important things to really have solidified. Um, because we live in a digital world. Most everything that we do is online. Like for example, I'm a student. Half the classes I take are online. If I need to know anything about anything, I just look it up. I just Google it, and you don't even need a degree as much anymore. Whoa, okay. He's already getting into the hot takes. All right, everybody relax. My point is, information is so easily accessible nowadays, and so much of our life is intrinsically intertwined with the digital, with the internet, that it's so important to make sure that we remain safe on the internet, right? And my point in saying this is that sometimes we need to make sure that we're careful that the services that we're using and buying into aren't taking advantage of this fact and taking advantage of our data. So, hello, my name is Connor Ward, and full disclaimer, this video is for an assignment. It's for my American Government Civic Engagement Project. However, in researching this video and talking about this video and thinking about this video, it became more than that to me personally, because it really caused me to consider the services that I use and also what's going on behind the scenes that people don't want me to see. That sounds, conspiracy theory. But I hope that from this video you'll learn something new and maybe see why I'm speaking in a way that seems very like I'm about to put on like a tinfoil hat and like be like the aliens are coming. Um, but I'm talking specifically about a kind of a series of events that happened a couple months ago, or 3 months ago, I guess, in February 2026 in relation to Discord, right? So for people who don't know what Discord is, it's a software that is like an online communication software. It lets you talk to your friends, text your friends, DM your friends, make servers, and then you can have a bunch of people and hop in these voice calls. It's great. You know what? It's awesome. And it is so incredibly widespread. Like, for example, there's like a Discord server for literally anything, but there's also so many for like college. Like, I'm in multiple college esports Discords. Um, and I met some cool people that way. They literally have a server for everything. But also, they have a complete chokehold over this market. Take a look at some of these statistics from 2026. They're valued at $7.28 billion. That's insane. They hold a 9% market share of leading messaging and chat apps in the US. Like, they have so much hold over the online communication industry. I've never seen anything like it. It's borderline monopoly. It's just nuts, right? However, in February, as I said, Discord revealed an implementation of some features that really called into question their honesty as a service, as well as if they could be trusted with your personal data and what you do on the app. And that thing that was proposed was this teen uh, default experience age verification feature, right? That they have now changed and pushed back, but I'll get to that later. Basically, what this proposal, and this is something that was going to be implemented in March, was this is in response to a lot of legislation in other countries, particularly the UK, that seeks to protect children online. And this is kind of in response to things like Roblox and a lot of like these. I don't know if you've heard stories of like the kidnappings and the groomings, and I don't know. There's just a lot of terrible stuff that happens online, and the intentions of this seem good, and then you start to take a look at some of the ways that they're doing this, and it's just a little strange. So basically, what Discord was proposing is that all new and existing accounts would be instantly locked at a teen setting and have restricted features on their account. And the way to get out of that would either be by submitting a biometric scan of your face that an AI would like scan and determine if you're a kid or an adult. Submit a photo of your ID or some sort of verification, passport, driver's license, whatever. Or let their rule model system monitor your activity, which it does in the background anyway, and determine if your account is an adult account or a child account or a teen account, because technically you can't have a Discord account unless you're 13, right? This caused a ton of backlash. People were really, really pissed about this, and they saw it as a complete invasion of privacy. And in my personal opinion, they should, for multiple reasons. The first of which is that Discord has shown in the past that they cannot be trusted doing this type of verification system. They cannot be responsible with this data. They state on their website, on their age verification website, that Discord and its trusted partners do not permanently store personal identity documents or your video selfies. Identity documents submitted to our vendors are deleted quickly, and the video selfie used for facial age estimation never leaves your device, right? I'm going to be honest, this is a straight up lie. And this is proven to be a lie by something that happened in September of 2025. Where, and get this, 1.5 terabytes of data and 2 million government IDs, photos get hacked and extorted. This happened, I believe, in Australia or the UK, because Discord has been trying to implement this feature and test it out, and I'll get to some of their testing very soon. But what this shows is that Discord is holding on to this data. Otherwise, how would it be able just to get hacked and extorted? Like, it's crazy. They're holding this data, and people need to realize that means that they're just lying. They're straight up lying, right? Which is really, really scary. The way that this information got leaked is through one of their third-party vendors. I believe one of their customer service providers. It was called Zendesk. And the thing about this third-party provider, and not them in particular, but Discord using third-party providers, is, it's still tied to Discord. And Discord is planning on using third-party providers for these age verifications and for getting these IDs. For example, in a test in the UK, they used a company called Persona, right? And Persona is a very, very interesting company because there were some hackers who were interested in this company. So they decided to do some snooping around. And what they found is very shocking. They found that, and excuse me, in a publicly accessible server, right, that it was basically sanctioned, or not sanctioned, that's not the right word. but on a U.S. government authorized server, it was shown that these publicly accessible files are not just being used to check for if you're just an adult. They're being used to check for things such as if you're related to terrorism or espionage or on any of these like watch lists. It what was it? It's like 14 watch list checks and 269 distinct verification checks, including IDs, fingerprints, faces, IP addresses, government IDs. I don't know if I said IP or IDs or IPs, whatever. The point is, they're being so excessive with these identification checks, and this is a U.S. government authorized server, which means this information is accessible to the U.S. government. And it was just freely available to the open internet, to the point that the people who found this, the hackers who found this, weren't technically doing anything illegal. And if you don't believe me and you don't believe this article, this forum, or I guess it's also an article, is from the hackers originally. Also, I just gotta say, beautiful website. Let's just be honest with ourselves here. And it shows the legal notice that proves they're not doing anything illegal. It shows all of the chat logs examining how Persona goes through their verification and kind of just gives all the receipts. I really encourage, if you're interested in what I'm talking about, to check out this form because it's very interesting. It also pointed out to me that Persona is funded by Peter Thiel, because this company is invested by Founders Firm, which is co-founded by Peter Thiel, and he co-founded Palantir, and Palantir is known for AI. I want to go on a little side tangent here real quick. Them having funding in this age verification thing that processes your data is really scary to me, and this is, again, going into the more conspiracy theory, but you take away the money, right? You take away the natural resources. You take away the economic resources. What does AI need in order to exist and in order to improve? It needs data. It needs data. It needs data. That's all. It just eats and eats and eats and learns, right? And I hope that in saying this, it really causes you to think about where the data that we're putting out into the internet is going. This is why digital privacy is so important, and this is why assessing the services that we're using is so important, right? So that's just two reasons why these age verifications were really suspicious. The Discord leaks and this third-party vendor that has a lot of shady things going on, especially in terms of data harvesting. Discord actually cut ties with Persona after this stuff came out, and they stated in their kind of follow-up response to the backlash, which I'll get into later, because they pushed back the timeline for the age verification, that they were going to provide more transparency when it comes to the vendors that they're using. But at the end of the day, they're still going through third-party vendors. One final note, it says in this article, again, I'll show the website, that they could legally hold this data for up to 3 years, which, again, is totally going against what Discord says on their website. That's just crazy. That's crazy. To me, a beast like me, personally, a dude like me, that's crazy, right? Shout out Northern Lion, for real. Those who know. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Kind of looking at just more of an argument of why this was a bad idea. By classifying these accounts, all these accounts, into adult accounts and into teen accounts, right? You're doing it for the sake of protecting the kids. Yet, by classifying all of these teen accounts, you're creating a bubble with a massive target of if there are people with malicious intent who want to come after kids, then they know exactly where to look, right? They need to target these accounts with this labeling. You're trying to protect these kids, but at the end of the day, you've shown that your data that you hold is volatile, and you're adding more data that allows people with bad intentions the right places to look. You know what I mean? That just seems like a terrible idea. This also calls into question the rule system that they say is going to work in the background to, even if you don't do the uploading of the ID or the face scan, that's gonna basically choose if your account is an adult or a child, right? It's what it assesses. And so I'm going to get into the response video. This is actually a perfect transition into that, believe it or not. Also, real quick, Persona, founded by Rick Song, Charles Ye. Funding from investors like Founders Fund. Founders Fund is co-founded by Peter Thiel, who co-founded Palantir. Again, just showing you follow the money, you kind of see where things go. And I know this sounds crazy conspiracy theory for a civic engagement project. Like this guy's losing his mind right now. What he's talking. I didn't sleep last night. You know, I was just up working on this because I found this so interesting. But in Discord's response, they basically stated that they missed the mark and that they would provide more transparency of how their verification system works. And the big thing that they said was that, and I'll read it, for 90% of users, nothing changes. They never access age-restricted content or change their safety default settings. And again, they have this internal system that works to accurately determine your age, right? For me, this means two things. One, we're just supposed to trust this internal system that could be faulty. And for Discord, what really is the incentive to using this accurately when the more times it's wrong, the more data, the more information they get, and potentially the more money they get, right? That's one. Two, they have stake in this rule set that we're supposed to agree with. You know what I mean? It's like, we'll handle it, and forgive me, because I know this is a lot. But I want to point out that they just launched this rules engine as Osprey or Osprey, whatever you want to call it, right? So they are making money off them using it, right? Which is very, very interesting. And I'll point something out that they say later in the article. Also, check this out for yourself. Check out this blog post. I'm going to link all of the things that I talk about in this video, all the documents, all the articles. I'm gonna link them down in the description so that you can check them out for yourself. But them using this rules engine means even if you don't submit a biometric scan or submit an ID, your data on Discord is still being analyzed and potentially harvested by this rules engine in order to determine whether you are an adult or a child, right? Which is kind of crazy to think about. They say something at the end of the blog post, which is kind of really, really weird to me. Like I said in the beginning, these changes were inspired by legislation getting passed in the UK, these protection laws, right? They say that, and where is it? I have to find it because it's so, oh yeah, here it is. They say that this is the model, and they're talking about the 90%, right, without using the age verification prompt. This is the model we hope the rest of the world will adopt as countries pass age verification laws. Okay, this is crazy because to me, this feels like they're calling their shot. They say, look, we have this rule system that we just set up, that we just openly sourced, and now we're hoping with this legislation that they're seeing this legislation being passed, they're capitalizing on that with a rules engine that will hopefully make them money. You know what I mean? That's kind of my interpretation of it, which is very, very interesting. Um, so as some final thoughts, and forgive me, I hope this doesn't make too much noise, but I'm going to change hands once again. Guy who changes hands all the time. We got Mr. Change Hands over here, bro. Get out of here. Get out of town. Discord has not shown themselves to be trustworthy because of the data leaks, because of the lies, because of the vendors that they use, and because of the fact that they're still planning on going through with this anyway, and we're just supposed to trust their model. You know what I mean? Like, this is only getting pushed back to the middle of 2026. It's still going to happen. So that's something to keep in mind. The open sourcing, the fact that legislation is being pushed towards this, everything is kind of moving in the direction of less digital privacy because more information's out there, and more surveillance. Digital surveillance is kind of the way that things are being pushed, right? Except it's being framed as protecting the youth. But here's the thing. In order to protect the rights, or not the rights, but the privacy of ourselves on the internet and the youth on the internet, we have to face the truth about the services that we use and be willing to not always use the most convenient or the most popular or the most comfortable service in order to protect our privacy. It's very, very important that we research these companies and we really, really take a hard look at what's going on deeper with these companies. You know, I feel like I'm talking in circles, but again, the point still stands. You know, so as kind of a way to wrap this up, and as a way to, I guess, provide some hope, because I know a lot of this has been very doom and gloom, and I don't want to give off the vibe that it's all cooked, it's all over, bro, it's so over, right? But we do have the power. We have the power to say no to a service that we think is harvesting our data. We have the power of research. We have the ability to look into the things that we're using. And I encourage you to investigate the companies and the services and the products you consume, because we might be buying into something or funding something that we don't realize. And that's pretty scary, you know? As long as we don't know what's really, really going on, things will continue to go as they already are. You know, the status quo will continue to move. I've been using Discord for a long time. I didn't know about this until February. Like, I literally had no clue. It's crazy, and it's really, really caused me to reassess all of the products that I use and whether I want my information out here on the internet for potential harm to come to it. You know what? Spoiler alert, no, I don't want my government ID out on the internet, buddy. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? But do research. Really look into these companies. Really be willing to make the hard choice of making a sacrifice for a service that's very, very convenient in order to choose something that is better for your privacy, for the privacy of your loved ones, and even if you're a lot of ways you can look into it as if this data is being harvested for AI companies, right? Which is a potential if you follow the money from a climate standpoint. It's just better for the environment that way. Um, so if you are looking for an alternative to Discord, which I am currently, I have heard very good things about TeamSpeak, right? The biggest thing, it does not require AI scans, it does not require ID verification. It is a Discord esque service that allows you to even host your own like servers because they upload the server files for download. And this allows you to use something that's like Discord, hopefully without getting your data stolen. So that hopefully is a helpful alternative for people who see this video and want to make a change. Um, and I'll leave you with this final thought. Information now more than ever is power, right? It circulates so fast. And I don't think anyone knows that better than people trying to harvest data, harvest information. So, I don't know, just some food for thought. That's my opinions on this. If you agree or disagree, I would highly encourage you to leave a comment down below in the comment in the box downstairs, in the talk box downstairs. Um and if you feel led, like and subscribe. I really enjoyed making this video, and this was a very educational experience, and it really caused me to think deeply about some things, and I'm still thinking deeply about some things. So hopefully I will make videos more like this in the future. I hope you learned something new. I hope you know that there is hope and that your voice has power and that your actions have meaning, and you have the ability to walk with purpose and fight against people who have ill intent towards you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see y'all in the next video. Professor, if you're watching, or sorry, doctor, excuse me. How'd I do? No, I'm just kidding. All right, bye guys. Thank you.